Hey there. So I'm trying something new for me on my channel, filming myself creating and then doing a voiceover. So I hope you enjoy this process. And if it's something that you'd like to see more of, just leave me a comment. And yeah, that'd be great. So here I'm throwing some gesso onto a page to kind of mellow out the print and the text, and the images, just kind of put those in the background. I'm going to be doing a lot of layering and painting, and I love the texture that gesso gives my pages before I start painting. It just kind of gives it a nice base. So what I'm going to be doing is I will just be popping in and out with music, and it's kind of explaining my process and letting you know what I'm doing. This particular project is one of 3 projects that I was working on at the same time. I was doing an art piece for my shop, and then I was doing some decorative tags. And I actually did use one of the tags on this page, which was a little unexpected. I thought I was just going to be, making them just to use up some extra paint and some extra ephemera. So here I scraped on some gray paint, and then I added a little bit of water with a brush to kind of thin it out a little bit, spread it around the page, and kind of give it a more overall look. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm starting with this. And then sometimes I'll take the side of the card and scrape it sideways to just kind of take off some of the extra paint so it'll dry a little faster. And then I'm putting on some really bright pink paint here, and just to give it a nice pop of color. And I love this red. That's a Martha Stewart red. I can't remember the name of the color. So this red is super bright. It looks like somebody's really bright red lipstick, but I love it. I love the look that I'm starting to get on here. I'm loving the color combinations. I'm going to add some more color, but I'm really having a lot of fun with pink and red on this page. Fanning to dry. I do that a lot. So this is where I kind of either I lost the footage or I forgot to turn on my camera. But if you'll notice, there's a really pretty chartreuse, a lot more gesso, a little bit of pink, a little bit more pink. So yeah, now I'm starting to build the colors up on my page, and now I'm going through some of my tissue paper. I really wanted to keep the tissue paper neutral. And I'm not sure why I didn't use that one. I kind of regretted not using that dotted with the gold. It's the gold and silver. So pretty. So that'll be coming up soon. I'm going to have to use that one soon. It's nice when you have such a bright background when you to kind of start using some neutrals to kind of just get the layers going. And so, yeah. But all 3 of those are favorites. So I bought this acrylic gel medium on Amazon, and I'm not really digging it. It's not really working for me the way I'm used to my matte mediums. I usually use Liquitex, and it's a lot more fluid. This one's thicker, and so I feel as if it just really didn't let that tissue paper melt into the background as much as it normally would with the Liquitex. So I'm going to go back to Liquitex, and I'll use this one up. It's not going to go to waste, but I don't recommend it. But those are pretty flowers. I'm liking the page. What I put underneath my pages to kind of protect what's underneath them is from the Dollar Tree. It's their plastic chopping mats. that's in the houseware section. They're perfect for slipping between pages when you're gluing and painting to protect the other pages in your journal. And of course, this is just a pattern, a pattern piece, paper pattern piece from a thrifted package of patterns. And you may wonder why I take the time to paint so much of the page and then cover a lot of it up. But it's I never know where I'm going with I rarely know where I'm going with a page. So just getting the whole thing covered and then working from there and doing the collage from that point just works best for me. It doesn't matter. It's inexpensive paint, so I don't really worry too much about covering some of it up. And this is just an image from a vintage dictionary that I have. It's like from the 30s, 1930s. Yeah, it's really old. So that paper's super fragile. And so using matte medium on there just melts, it practically melts into the page. And I love that little bug on there. It's super cute. So here I had, because I was working on a different project that I needed some watered down gesso for, I just did a little bit of kind of dry brushing, some watered down gesso just to soften some of the edges, of the background pages, the background elements. Adding some paint, adding a little bit more color. So this is a palette. It's not really a palette knife. It's actually a tool that I picked up at the hardware store. But it's just the perfect size. It's small enough for me to apply bits of paint in strategic places on my page. I just absolutely love it. It's been a long time since I've used it. So it was so much fun to grab a tool that I haven't used in quite a while. So yeah, it's super cool. Love it. I'm just adding a little bit of white to kind of bring that color into the background a little bit. Cover up a little bit of it. It's a little stark there, yeah. So some of that paint is showing through. So here I'm trying to figure out which stencil I want to use. I want to put kind of get some structure going in there with paint, and made an unusually fast choice with this one. This one's Vicky Booten. Super cute. Love it. This is just a makeup sponge, and I get them wet, and then I kind of squeeze some of the moisture out of them with a paper towel or a towel or a rag or whatever, and just so it doesn't squish the paint out into the page. It makes a nice clean stencil that way. Found that to be the easiest way that I can stencil. I love this chartreuse color. And the way this is layering is I'm bringing out a color that I kind of put into the background, back it up into the forefront. So it's kind of making that kind of a layering look. So here I grabbed some ephemera out of my box that I have had for a very long time, and it needed a home, like a lot of my ephemera does. And super happy to have this on my page. I'm really happy to finally be finding a home for this little girl. But one of my favorite things to do is to kind of play around with what I call store-bought ephemera, cut it up, kind of use it in a different way than you normally might if you just left it as is. Coming on, I like it. I like some of my ephemera to be coming into the page. And that text piece is from a vintage French play, a book that I picked up at a thrift store. And I'm trying to weave the elements together a little bit. Something I like to, it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. I like the way it looks when you have things kind of coming in and out of each other like that. So this gets pretty tricky. So I get it nicely glued up, and then I get it on the page, and then I even brayer it, and then I decide I don't really like how much white is on there. So yeah, I've got a nicely glued up piece of paper that I'm going to attempt to cut, and yeah. So yeah, I decide I'm gonna take off some of that white because I felt like there was too much there, and it's a pretty sticky little item to be cutting into, but I end up making it work. So yeah, but just as a heads up, it usually is a little easier to make those decisions before you apply massive quantities of glue. Yeah, so it's pretty thin little connection there, but and then I have a complete glue stick fail, and yeah, so I had to use my finger to get that on there. It worked out in the end, but it was kind of a mess. But it definitely looks a lot better without all that white on there. So yeah, so I lift up on the leaf so I can start weaving the elements together. Here I just grab my smaller glue stick because it makes it easier. She's got little delicate parts to her. I hope that doesn't seem like a lot of work, but it really is fun to get something on there and kind of have it look a little bit different. It's a little bit of work, but it's fun. It's worth it. And here I'm just adding a little bit more watered down gesso to kind of get the background a little mellowed out, I think. So I just had those. I had those decorate. I made a video of those tags, how I decorated those tags. So I'll be putting that up pretty soon, sometime this week when I get it edited. But those tags really did come in handy for this because I didn't make them for this project. I just happened to decide that that would be a great addition. So worked out perfectly. And this is just from a Japanese newspaper that I've had for years. I love all that writing. I love to have lots of different languages in my... the only problem with that is you don't know what it says, so you're like, hopefully that's not something rude, but I doubt if a Japanese newspaper would have something rude on the financial pages, so I think we're good. But anyway, yeah, I love the way it looks, so... And then I find a little piece of whatnot on the bottom of my mat there and decided maybe it needs to go on there. And there we go. As you can see, I'm not putting a whole lot of thought into it. I just decided I'm going to just kind of try to get some stuff on that tag. Use up some stuff. The reason why I wanted to try that matte medium in a tube was because I thought it would be nice to just have a little dollop of it on my work surface, so I don't always have to pull out the little container and pull the lid off and that whole thing. So I'll probably stick with both of them. Sometimes using the matte medium's a little bit easier than the glue stick. I know I'm getting all the edges when I use the matte medium. The reason why I like to try to get it a little bit dry before I brayer it and with the wax paper is because once in a while, if I put the wax paper on the page or the element before it's completely dry, it'll pull off some of the paper. Here I'm just trying out a few things behind the tag to see if I can get some more layers in. There's a lot of kind of not blank area, but just a little bit too much tissue paper and paint. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to start layering. I kind of wish I would have tried something pink. It didn't occur to me, but I like that flower. The flower turned out to be pretty good. But some more pink up in that corner probably would have been nice. I could put some pink paint up there. I could maybe add a little something with pink paint up above that flower. So we'll see. I might try that out. It's not going into a museum. It's going on a shelf, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But it's all about practice. That's what my art journals are. It's about practicing techniques. It's about practicing composition. That's what I like them for. I don't write in them very often. Sometimes I do, yeah. But for the most part, it's kind of like practicing different techniques. And it's finding a home for the tons of stuff that I have that need to be used or given away. But yeah, sometimes I'll try a technique and I'll actually kind of wear it out because I have so much fun with it, but that's okay. But there are certain things that one of the things that has become my go-to lately are those sunflowers. I've just been having a blast with those sunflowers. They were so easy to cut out of the paper. Super cute. So here's something I haven't done in a long time. Stamping. I am not the best stamper. I'm actually really bad at it. So I try not to do it very often because for me, it was a great way to ruin a page because I was never really happy with the way I did it. But I did a few practice shots on my work surface there, and so kind of gave me a little confidence to just throw it on the page, which I have to admit I'm just really tickled with the way it came out. I love that little kitty cat. So here I'm going to put some hole reinforcers on my tag just to give it a little bit of pop. Um, I didn't even try the pink. I don't know why, but sometimes I kind of get in a little bit of a hurry. But I ended up with the green, and I like the way it looks. I kind of wish I would have seen what it looked like with the pink, but oh well. Adding some string. I don't like my tags to be stringless. Not sure why, but it just doesn't feel like a tag unless it has a string. So, as always, one of my favorite parts, the pencil. Getting in the corners, getting that contour, getting that contrast from the page, from the other elements. And it's relaxing. Unless you accidentally tear something with your eraser because you're going too fast, but I really like the way it looks when it like here, you can really see how it pops the flower off the page by shading it in and giving it some contrast. And when I'm able to do that with my elements, I really like it because, you spend a lot of time with collage journals, you spend a lot of time doing a lot of fussy cutting. And so to have your hard work blend into the back of the page just doesn't work for me. I've got to show it off. I've got to try to pop it away from the page. And it just gives the whole page a kind of a cool look. So I thought I was done until I realized that I didn't even try to look for a postage stamp that might bring the page together a little bit more. So I grabbed my little package of postage stamps to see if I could find one that I thought would work. I was actually looking for something with some pink and red in it, and but I just didn't like anything that I tried. Until I found that one. And I did not think that was what would work for me. I just didn't, but that ended up being the perfect little addition. It kind of brought all of that blue into that corner. It was because that was like a lot of pink, a lot of red, and then that it just kind of brought all that blue from the rest of the page onto the tag and kind of made the whole thing a little bit more cohesive. And that's what I was shooting for. So here I'm doing something that I haven't done in a while, which I was really happy I remembered to do, is I went around the stenciling with pencil. I did that on one of my other pages, but I almost like forgot to do it here, and I'm really glad I remembered at the last minute because it really made that stenciling pop off the page and just gave it a really cool look. So I'm really liking that. I'm really glad I remembered to do that at the last minute. So I hope you don't mind that I didn't talk through the entire video. I'm throwing in some music because I don't know. I don't have that much to say about all these things. There's a lot of layers, but luckily for video, they're pretty self-explanatory, you know. Basically sharing my feelings about some of the elements, I think, mostly. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So I've got 2 more videos coming up. One's going to be about my the art piece that I worked on along with this and the tags. So look forward to those coming up in the next week or 2 when I get those edited. And as always, thank you for watching my channel. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos. And until next time, see you later. Bye-bye. Have a great week.